Sorelle Amore took the finance niche on YouTube by surprise when she uploaded this video, How I Became an Overnight Millionaire, which begs the question, how does Sorelle Amore really make her money online? To answer this question, we must start from the beginning. Like most self-made millionaires on YouTube, Sorelle Amore came from humble beginnings. Her family did not have much. She tells a story of how when she was 2, her mother took her with her siblings Steph and Conrad to a theme park, where she gave them money and asked them to buy whatever they wanted. Later, when they came back, their mom asked how they spend their money. Steph and Conrad had squandered everything, and there was our little hero clutching her own coins in her fist. She did not spend her money because she enjoyed watching her sister and brother spend theirs. She said she was attracted to the financial energy from the money. She loved the feel of money and felt a deeper connection with money as a child. What kind of 2-year-old remembers things with such stunning amounts of details? I don't know. Let's find out after you like this video. Take note of the following ages as we unravel the truth behind Sorelle Amore's millions. At 12 years old, at 16, at 27, and at 30. Also take note of the following amounts: $20, $10,000, $30,000 US, and $640,000 US. 2018 and December 9 of 2019 are also important as well. Fast forward to 12 years later, at 12, Sorelle Amore landed her very first job, washing cars with her uncle. It was at this age that she got to make her first real money, $20, on top of the free pizza lunch she got, and this was the beginning of how she will later travel the world for free and become an overnight millionaire. At 13, she made a vow to herself never to have anything less than $2,000 in her bank account. She kept grinding and was able to hold onto this vow until 14 years later, when she was 27, her life took a turn down the hill. At 15, she worked in cafes and continued to grow her bank account. At 16, she got her first adulthood lesson. Her mom and her stepdad asked them to pay rent. I mean, their parents charged them for staying under their roof. What kind of parents will do this to their sweet little 16? Who does that? At 17, her adventurous spirits kicked in. Canada was on her mind, and her plans to get to Canada was by being a volunteer. As it turned out, volunteering was not free as it is today. She had to pay $6,000 to be a volunteer. Her mom and dad helped her raise $12,000 for the trip, while she continued growing. At 18, she was working 4 jobs at 4 different pubs while studying full-time. At 20, she landed her first corporate job with a salary of 50,000 Australian dollars, 2 times more than what she was making the previous years bartending. 18 months later, after working her ass off and proving herself, she moved up the corporate ladder as the marketing manager instead of marketing coordinator. She negotiated for herself an additional salary of 20,000 Australian dollars. 2 years after she did what every savvy entrepreneur does, she quit her job and cashed her savings to start her first business, Pinup Passion. Pinup Passion was her first attempt to make money online. Nothing came out of that business, not even a dime. It failed because she was unable to monetize the business. She turned the whole thing into a hobby and moved on to what will be her biggest failure. Would you have imagined that the 2-year-old we just saw, who was unable to spend her allowance, be such a failure 20 years later? Her next big idea, which blew up in her face, was creating makeup brushes, which completely flopped. The wrong product and wrong market made this savvy money lover depart with her beloved $10,000. To make ends meet once more, she turned her old love, bartending. At about 24 or 25, she had an epiphany to become a photography intern at Sherbet Birdie Photography with her best friend. With no experience whatsoever in photography, she hedged her bets on a hunch and worked for 3 months for free. Her boss did offer to pay her, but she was so ashamed to receive money from her boss. Instead, she relied more on her never-failing bartending jobs. From an intern, she upgraded as usual to assistant photographer and a videographer for corporate events. This upgrade did not bring in any additional dollars as in the case of her corporate job. Rather, it saw her working 16 hours a day. Sorelle Amore is not a stranger to long working hours. She has been working 16 hours a day since she was 16 and was asked to start paying rent. She was motivated to work for long hours by her ultimate goal of making money online and traveling the world full-time. At 26, her heart decided to mess everything up. She dropped everything and bought a one-way ticket to Europe. Just when her life was beginning to pull together, she left behind her job of $5,000 a month and cashed out her savings of $20,000 from 10 years of living frugally like the king himself, Graham Stephan. In her own words, she was a bit of a tight ass. Her first stop was Iceland, the most expensive place in the world. Things did not move as planned in Iceland, and within a year her life was hanging on a balance. Now at 27, she had spent all the $20,000 she set out with and was left with just $1,000, and her rent of $800 was due. She survived paying rent to her parents at 16, and now was not the time to give up. Just then, she had her greatest moment of awakening. She remembered what her dad told her before living, that if she ever needed any financial assistance, she should reach out. And so she reached out to her dad, her parents being one of a kind and never short of surprises, accepted to help their sweet little girl on one condition. As if paying rent at 16 to them was not enough, she was asked to come up with what I call a business plan detailing how she was going to spend the money and when she was going to pay back the money with interest. She was not only embarrassed by the fact that she stooped too low to ask for help, but also that she had to pay back whatever she received with interest. After that encounter, she learned her first life lessons. 1. Never ask your folks for cash. 2. There is no such thing as free money because there are always conditions and strings attached to it. To make ends meet once more, she landed what will be the worst job in her entire life. She was treated like absolute shit for 3 unbearable months. The worst part of her life she will never forget. Until date, she still remembers the faces of her employers. Being who she is, a tight ass, she managed to save a little. It was during the lowest moment of her life that Abundancia, the Roman goddess of prosperity, remembered her and showed her the way. Luck smiled on her as she stumbled into a competition called the Best Job on the Planet. The winner was to walk away with 3 months of free travel and a monthly stipend of $10,000. She wiped off her tears, said goodbye to hardship, and took on the 17,000 people trying to pull the rug beneath her feet. Traveling the world had been her long-standing dream since she was a child, and now the only thing standing between her and her dream were 4 rounds of the competition. And she won. As she traveled the world, she perfected her photography skills and put her past experiences to use. As the 3 months of free travel was coming to an end, she remembered the promise she made to herself of becoming a millionaire by 30, and there she was 2 years shy of 30. Something mysterious happened towards the end. Of the $30,000 she accrued from her travel over the course of 3 months, she was left only with $16,000. Where did $14,000 go to? In her own words, it went to someone who knows how to organize and manage their finances. In a nutshell, she blew up $14,000 just like that because she was not financially savvy and lacked financial management skills. Skills she will later master and make millions out of to become an overnight millionaire, as she claims. Once more, she was visited by the same hunch that told her to learn photography. To start this channel, her main channel, also her second channel, this channel. She uploaded her first video on her main channel 9 years ago, calling out on grown-ass men still living at home with their parents. Her next video was her sharing virgins' methods of eating a mango. 2 years later, she was still going hard as ever, this time standing naked in front of her mirror and screwing the one-dimensional view on beauty. She grew her main channel to 1 million plus subscribers, and during that same time gained 500,000 plus subscribers on Instagram. As per the instruction of her hunch, she created her second YouTube-based financial channel and established herself well in a seemingly male-dominated niche. Not only was she beginning to live the life she had envisaged for herself as a child, her enormous success on YouTube and Instagram catapulted her to the next level. Time was no longer on her side as she was fast approaching 30. She decided to distill the knowledge she gained all those years working as a bartender, photographer, marketing manager, and traveling the world into 2 online courses which she released yearly in 2018 and 2019. The sales of courses on the internet has given rise to so many armchair gurus and experts, selling people on false hope and ripping them of their hard-earned money. Is Sorelle Amore one of such fake gurus? Did she rip people off to become an overnight millionaire as she claims? The moment of truth is now. Let's find out if she is self-made or fake. From her course sales alone over the course of 2 years, she made a whooping sum of $640,000. Then COVID struck and things became juicier for her. While major companies were shutting down, global debt toll increasing, Sorelle Amore was the last woman standing. As everyone shifted their attention during lockdown to the internet, Sorelle was there to welcome them with what they needed in her online courses. In 2020, once more Abundancia, the Roman goddess of prosperity, smiled on her again. In 1 month, she made $500,000. $340,000 came in with the first 24 hours of her course launch. She was leaving the American dream, and she bought 3 houses that same year, 2 houses in Australia and 1 in Iceland. Definitely Iceland, according to me, was to recoup back her 20,000 Australian dollars she spent in Iceland when she started out. December 9, 2019, a month shy of her 31st birthday, she officially became a millionaire. And to answer your question whether Sorelle Amore is a fake online guru or self-made millionaire, definitely, she is not. She is everything life made her to be. After going through her YouTube channels, I was able to pinpoint major areas of expertise which cross-reference with all her experiences. Years of corporate marketing, building human relationships as a bartender, and savvy ways of collecting tips laid the foundation for her huge success with her online courses. The unorthodox, unconventional, and wanted parenting of her parents made her the savvy financial expert she is today. Her passion of making money, saving it, and traveling the world genuinely shows off in her content. She is a quick learner and truly motivated by her passion of making money. With the goddess of prosperity definitely on her site, she is the luckiest girl ever. Sorelle Amore's route to becoming a millionaire is one of such typical YouTube success stories. It took her years of grinding, judging by her first video of 9 years ago. In the end, she worked for it and it was an overnight success. Please subscribe and be among the first to subscribe to the channel. If you want to buy me coffee, my Patreon link is in the description below.